What's up guys, Billy here, and today I'd like to discuss some of my thoughts on DJI's Create Your Legacy event that went on last night in Las Vegas. Now I've got to say that I'm a little unsure at how to begin this video. I guess the first thing I can say is that I'm kind of in a bag of mixed emotions right now. On one hand, I'm very let down that we didn't see the Spark or the goggles, but on the other hand, I've got to say that I'm very impressed with some of the things that DJI has brought to the table. Now it's very apparent that during this whole event, they've released a lot of brand new products that are geared towards professionals. Some of the consumers are not going to be going out there and buying the Sendence controller or an Inspire 2, but I think that DJI kind of had this in mind. As soon as I opened up the Facebook live streamer and I saw the quality of the video, the quality of the microphone, and all of the comments pretty much just bagging on DJI and really flaming them, I've got to say that I really wasn't expecting anything big coming from them. I do think that the Ronin and the Sendence and the Tracktenna, all of those things are great releases and things that the pros can really take advantage of, but I think that at the end of the day, DJI would have come out with a bigger event that was streamed straight through their website itself if they were coming out with something like the Spark or a brand new Mavic or any of those kinds of products. Now with all of that being said, I know that a lot of people are angry at DJI for this event. They were expecting things and they didn't get those things. But me, on the other hand, I've got to say, I'm very impressed with them. I might get a lot of dislikes on this video because some of you guys may disagree with me, but at the end of the day, I'm here to give my thoughts and here to give my opinions on some of their products. So I've got 4 different categories here that I want to talk about. I want to first start off with the Ronin. After that, talk a little bit about the Tracktenna, and then after that, talk about the Sendence, or actually, I'll do Sendence first and then Tracktenna, and then finally, I'll do the Crystal Sky, which I would say is probably the thing that a lot of people are most excited about. So again, we're gonna go Ronin, Sendence, Tracktenna, and then Crystal Sky. Now, starting off with the Ronin, this is something that I'm not very familiar with. Again, I'm more of a drone channel, you would say. I've got the Phantom 4, the Mavic, got the Osmo. I guess it's kind of comparable to the Osmo Mobile, although they're on totally 2 different spectrums. But anyway, I've got some notes written down here, some things that I pulled from the actual live event that I wanted to discuss. So first of all, we have the versatility. I noticed that between the Ronin 1 and the Ronin 2, that everything is just easier. Being able to switch things on the fly, being able to use the Ronin 2 anywhere you need to with like a cable, with a car mount, with obviously the handheld rig. I mean, honestly, this thing is so versatile, so easy to use that I'm sure a lot of filmmakers will love using the Ronin 2. Also, I wanted to talk about the dual battery system. It seems that now it's the hot switch feature, I think that's what they called it. Basically, you can pull out a battery or one of the batteries and replace it with a brand new one and just continue shooting, which is a great feature. Obviously, I hate having to like stop my camera because I need to replace the battery. Even when I'm trying to film time lapses, it's like the worst. I have to cut the time lapse. It sucks. But anyway, the dual battery system is awesome, and it looks like you can use Inspire 2 batteries inside of the Ronin. So if you're someone that already has the Inspire 2, you're going to be able to use those batteries, which again is very helpful as batteries alone can be very expensive. Another thing that I've written down here is the splash proofing of the Ronin 2. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, all of the components and all of the cables are now inside of the actual body itself. I think that's what it looks like. But anyway, it's splash proof now, and you'll notice that at the bottom it has some feet, so if you need to set it down in snow, if you need to use it during the rain, I mean, all those things, you're not going to be limited. Again, if I got any of that information wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not very big on the Ronin series. I know that a lot of other people are, with their handheld gimbals, their handheld stabilizers, but for my channel, I focus more on drones, so once we get into the Sendence, the Tracktenna, and the Crystal Sky, I promise I'll know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. Now, after talking for the Ronin for probably 20 minutes, and after sharing a bunch of different stories, they finally got into some of the drone side of things, or the drone accessories that they had waiting to show us. The first is the Sendence controller. This thing looks like a beast. It looks super confusing. It retails for around $1,000, which I think is very, very, very expensive, considering you will also need to buy a Crystal Sky monitor with it. So on top of that, you're looking at up to $2,000. And honestly, I just think that this thing looks a little bit too confusing, but once you get the hang of it, you probably will love it. This thing is only available for the Inspire 2 as well as the Matrice series, so if you have a Phantom, Phantom 4, Phantom 4 Advanced, You're not going to be able to get your hands on this, which does suck. But again, dropping $1,000, which is almost more than some drones out there, just for a remote controller is a little bit ridiculous. Now the first thing I want to highlight is all of the different detachable parts. I think that there's a total of 4 different detachable parts, and that is the antennas, the Crystal Sky monitor or the smartphone holder, also the sticks, as well as the battery. So basically you'll be able to detach your monitor, choose whether you want to use your smartphone or the Crystal Sky monitor. You'll also be able to detach the antennas for travel, as well as hooking up the Tracktenna rather than just using the standard antennas. Also, you will be able to use detachable batteries so that if you're out in the field filming for a long time, you don't have to plug your remote in and charge it up. You can just simply swap out the batteries. And then the final thing are the removable sticks. So with this picture right here, you'll notice that there are like these little circular items or circular attachments on top of where the sticks go. Basically, if you're throwing this inside of your bag, you're able to screw the sticks off and then screw on these little plates to make sure that no dust or debris messes with the sticks. Now the final thing that I want to highlight about the Sendence controller is the screen, as well as all of the customizable buttons. Now starting off with the screen, we have this in the center of the remote towards the bottom, and this will show us information like the Mavic's controller shows us, so basically the speed, the height, distance, altitude, all of that good stuff. And again, it will be that same super bright display that we get with the Mavic, which is awesome. I think that it's really important having a screen like that just in case maybe your Crystal Sky monitor dies or even your smartphone dies. Having that as a backup is always awesome, and it's super easy to just find and look at really quickly. Also, all of the customizable buttons, I'm not going to go over every single button as I probably will be here all night, but basically we have a bunch of different dedicated buttons on the remote itself. Rather than having to dig through the settings or change the ISO by sliding and all of that stuff, we now have dedicated buttons, which is something that professionals will love. I know that people, when they buy their cameras, love their physical buttons, and there are some cameras that rely a lot on the touchscreen and people absolutely hate them. So physical buttons is awesome, and seeing physical buttons and scrollers and wheels and all of this stuff on a remote looks confusing, but once you get the hang of it, I'm sure it's awesome. With all of that being said, I've got to say that the Sendence remote controller is awesome. If I had an Inspire or a Matrice drone, I would definitely go out and buy one, as I'm sure it makes things a lot easier, and it just looks badass. I mean, compared to a regular white or a regular gray remote controller, this thing looks like you're ready for business. Once they were done revealing the Sendence remote controller, they gave us a little look at the Tracktenna. Now off the bat, I've got to say, this is a very dumb name. I mean, I understand the whole concept. It's a tracking antenna. Yeah, it makes sense. But I do think that if they gave it a little bit more thought, they could have come up with a better name than Tracktenna. So basically the benefit to using something like this is that you'll get better signal strength and better signal quality from the drone to the remote controller itself. It's basically an external antenna that stands on a stand. It can also be on a suction cup mount on a car, I guess, if you really wanted it to. I saw this picture, which looks a little bit odd, but hey, it's very versatile, which is something that a lot of people are probably wanting. With this external antenna, you plug it directly into the back of the Sendence controller, right into one of the antenna sockets. So all you need to do is screw off the stock antenna and then plug this thing in, and you're good to go. Now, I really didn't get all that much information on it. I think it looks very cool. Again, it's geared towards professionals. They didn't give us any release date, and they also didn't give us any pricing. So I can only imagine this thing will cost probably well over $2,000–$3,000, something like that. But I think that the auto tracking feature that it comes with, where it actually points itself right at the drone, is really cool. It's actually stabilized by a 2-axis gimbal, which is like crazy. It's like DJI is now making antennas that are stabilized by gimbals. They love their gimbals, I swear. But at the end of the day, this thing is a very cool concept, and I would love to see when it comes out. I feel like this is something that we won't even see until 2018, as DJI seems to always be ahead of themselves. But again, we will have to see and also wait and hear anything coming from them. Moving on to the fourth and final thing, which I'm sure everyone is very excited about, that is the Crystal Sky monitors, and it seems that we have now moved one step forward into actually getting these in our hands. If we head over to DJI's website, we'll notice that there's actually some purchasing information, such as the price and also the different models. So first of all, we have a 5.5 high brightness version, or a 5.5 inch high brightness version. This is going to come in at $469, so I'm guessing that this will be your entry level model for the Crystal Sky monitors. The next thing that we have, or the next version that we have, is the 7.85 inch high brightness version, which comes in at $700, and then finally we have the 7.85 inch version again, except now we have ultra brightness, which comes in at a whopping $1,000 for just a monitor. Another thing that we'll notice on the Crystal Sky page is that it is currently out of stock. So it appears that although we have all this information about price and models, etc., we are not able to buy it yet. I've requested to have an in-stock reminder, so I guess I'll receive an email once it's in stock. I'm looking to get the 7.85-inch ultra brightness version. It may seem like overkill, but I would love to try and get the best of the best, and we'll just have to see what the phones look like once we get there, but that's the one right now that I've got my eyes on. One other thing that I want to actually mention, let me click over to the tab here. We're going to need to buy some sort of remote controller mounting bracket. I'll put the little screenshot up on the screen right now. It's going to cost $80, and it appears that if you already have a Phantom remote controller, you'll need to purchase this mounting bracket so that you can actually use the Crystal Sky monitor. It's another $80, and it seems like if you're going out and spending $1,000 on a screen or $469 on a screen, you're going to have to shell out another $80 just to mount this thing to your actual device or your actual remote. Another thing that I want to mention is the guy that was talking at the presentation. His name was Tim. He said that we will be seeing this very soon. He kind of started talking about the Crystal Sky monitors, and he paused for a second and said, "You'll be seeing them very soon," or something like that. So it appears that we will be seeing these again very soon. They've obviously updated the website. They've added the buying prices, model numbers, or model types, etc., all that stuff. But all I've got to say is we are very, very, very close to seeing these things, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it and do a full review. So guys, that about wraps up my thoughts on this newest DJI event, the Create Your Legacy event. Let me know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. It appears that a lot of people during the Facebook live stream were angry. I saw all those angry faces sliding across the screen during the actual live stream itself. But I've got to say that the tech they released is really cool. I mean, although it's really not geared towards consumers, professionals are definitely happy. They're probably salivating at all of this brand new equipment. And again, it's going to be really cool to see what some others can do with it. But guys, anyway, as I said, this video is coming to an end. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here, as I have been trying to upload daily. Also, don't forget, leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of the event. I'm sure I'll get a lot of angry comments, but I would love to see what your personal opinion is. But guys, anyway, as I said, this video is coming to an end, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.